Obviously, backwards planning for a trip to attend an old Army buddy's surprise birthday party is critical. It's his 60th birthday party on Saturday. You have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, making it impossible to leave before Thursday. We have to be there Friday night. Making things worse, I found that the tow bar needed tweaked to properly connect to the Jeep. We were out of time. We decided to leave the Jeep behind. Consequently, we did not get started on our trip till noon on Thursday. I made it to Burley, Idaho, where we spent the night nestled between two semis at a Love's truck stop. I met Sergeant First Class Peter Martin in April of 2002. After 20 years in the Army Reserve, at age 42, I went active duty. Pete and I kicked it off right away. Both of us have a great sense of humor and feed off each other. I consider him one of my closest friends. Seeing him after almost a decade was not something I was about to miss. It's not just about Pete. He has a wonderful family as well. It was truly great to see them again after all these years. The Callalot Big Cedar is a Sitka cedar tree that's 175 feet tall and estimated to be around 1,000 years old. In 2014, a storm split the tree almost in half, but it continues to produce leaves. While impressive, the giant also provides an important lesson. As it dies and decomposes, it will provide ecological facilitation as it decays. Fallen trees, also known as nurse logs, offer seedling shade, nutrients, and water. This also provides protection from disease and pathogens, in turn, nurturing and making way for the new generation. I took these photos, looking up towards the split section of the trunk that was damaged by the storm. I love the contrast between the bark and the soft mosses growing there, as well as the symmetrical deep split of the trunk as it shoots upward towards the sky. Olympic National Park is located in the northwest corner of the state of Washington, on the Olympic Peninsula. The park is famously known to contain 4 distinct ecosystems: the Pacific coastline, alpine areas, the west side temperate rainforest, and the forests of the drier east side. We actually got to visit 3 of these ecosystems. The temperate rainforest that you see here is a lush, beautiful environment full of visual contrasts between soft and hard, light and dark. Later, Ginger and I drove to the Pacific coast near La Push, Washington, and no trip to the Olympic Peninsula would be complete without a trip to the mountains contained in the alpine areas. I have to admit, I am not an Ocean Beach fan. As a child, we spent hours and days on the water. My father, like his father, was a die-hard fisherman. One of the things I noticed over the years: when you go to the ocean, there are 2 things you can expect. Either blue sky and blue water, or gray sky and gray water. Seems kind of boring to me. However, here along the coastline of Olympic National Park, there are many rock structures that emerge high above the surf. The rocky headlands, forest, sandy beaches, and tide pools create a living canvas of colors and textures. Offshore sea stacks topped by nesting seabirds and wind-carved trees all give visual delight to the explorer. Not boring. Pleased. As we traverse the road towards Hurricane Ridge, Ginger and I get small glimpses of alpine splendor. A rocky ridge, trees starting to thin out, a field of alpine wildflowers, all evidence that we are headed towards the alpine ecosphere. Despite living just 15 miles from the Rocky Mountains, we were glad to see the mountains. Not as high as the Rockies, not much higher than the tree line, but still a beautiful sight. As we reached the end of the road, there was an area to turn around. As we pulled the Discovery back around for our descent, we noticed a number of people at a viewing area, actively watching. Not looking, but watching. This is a huge tip-off to wildlife in the area. Sure enough. Mule deer. Lots of deer. And fields of wildflowers. As we left the Olympic Peninsula to head home, Google Maps routed us in a strange direction. We started heading east, way before we normally would. Apparently Interstate 80 had been closed somewhere between Ogden, Utah, and Green River, Wyoming. This took us a more scenic route. These were roads that I had not been on before. Soon enough, I spotted a sign containing a familiar town name: Kemmerer, Wyoming. I was back in my old recruiting stomping grounds. I had spent a lot of time visiting Kemmerer and Evanston, Wyoming. Kemmerer is located in southwest Wyoming and is the county seat for Lincoln County. Kemmerer has over a 100-year history that is steeped in rich stories and journeys including coal mining, railroads, bootlegging, and the historic trails. Kemmerer saw the establishment of J.C. Penney. J.C. Penney traces its origins back to April 14, 1902, when founder James Cash Penney opened the Golden Rule dry goods store. In 1962, J.C. Penney acquired the General Merchandise Company, launching the first Penney catalog the following year. Our detour through Kemmerer cost us a lot of miles and time. I decided that we would take 3 days to return home. I knew of BLM land that was close by Boise, Idaho, where we could camp for the night. This was close by the Orchard Combat Training Center. I spent 5 years in this area as an operations sergeant. Idaho is a beautiful state with huge areas of public lands. Idaho has a mix of natural environments comparable to Colorado. Mountains, deserts, white water rivers, lush green forests, rocky cliffs, huge canyons, and a plethora of wildlife. And the sunsets can be stunning. I love the people of and my time in Idaho. Our next night was spent in another public land area. Very remote, very beautiful. It was the perfect way for us to end our trip. A trip that started off as a 1,469-mile trip to celebrate a great friend's 60th birthday. I hope he cherishes the time we spend with him and his family as much as I do, and the heartfelt gift that I created for him. Oh, yeah, I guess I forgot to mention that. So, years ago, when I was in recruiting with Pete, Ginger, Winston, Heather, and I got stuck in the snow in the mountains on one of our adventures. I had a cell phone signal, so I called Pete for assistance. Long story short, his family and mine were stuck overnight in the mountains. In the morning, he pulled out his CZ-75 pistol for us to shoot. So, almost a decade later, Thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to like and share. Until next time.